Hello! Today we are going to have a look at Caria Manor from a level design and world design perspective. Keep in mind, Caria Manor starts at the entrance right here and it ends after the boss fight over here. So the whole area around Caria Manor to the north is not part of Caria Manor. So keep that in mind. Starting at this point, we can see that Caria Manor again has so many buildings or fortifications in this game. It has a staircase, which means that if you're carrying stuff by a wagon of some sort and you want to get it inside the building, you have to carry it manually because it's a bit hard to push things up the staircase, right? But it makes it a little bit easier to defend. So it has its pros and its cons, right? And we can see we have blue flames here, so magic. It's magic. Getting inside, we see this beautiful, although creepy looking garden, which is quite cool, I must say. I really like the looks of this place. It looks very creepy, and we have these disgusting hand spider enemies right here. Let them jump down. And oh boy, are they creepy. And after a while, they're just annoying. But the first time you see them, oof. What a unnerving enemy. The design is quite good. I just have some problems with the moveset itself, but to that later on. Let's keep going this way here, because I want to go around and hug the wall, basically. Because there might be something in this garden of interest, right? Right here we have another staircase to... I don't know what place this is. We are currently at the east wall, which looks, on the map, quite complicated. But that's because up there is something we can walk on, and right here there's not that much. We have this little room. Oh. I didn't know they could talk. Something forgiven, okay. I guess. Let's put the lantern on the hip so we can see a little bit better, but actually... No, this is more moody, I like this. But the layout right now doesn't really resemble that much. It's just something you can walk on, and between the wall... Oh. Let's hear what they have to say. They're quite hard. I can't really understand them. Something with stars. That is interesting. I didn't know they could talk, but this is not lore right here. Shut up, please. No lore allowed. So what we have here is something we've seen many times before in many other structures. We have crenellations facing inward, and of course we also have crenellations facing outward, but they're up here on the wall itself. So let's get things out of the way. Crenellations facing inward makes sense. If the enemy is inside, you can still shoot at them safely from the walls without them being able to shoot back. I have just a little problem with these crenellations we have in these games here, because we have arrow slits and crenellations. The reason why there is a gap is so that you can shoot from this position and take cover behind the bigger part of the chronolation. But here we have the problem, this part, the lower part, is not low enough. I can't reach over there. And the problem of the big part, where we should take cover, is that there are arrow slits. And you really want to have arrow slits or chronolations because they serve the same purpose. So you're protected while shooting at the enemy. And right now we can shoot here, take cover here, can't shoot here, so the chronolations are quite useless. I mean, they look good, and I think that's why we have them right here, but they're not that practical. They're still practical, I guess. You can shoot here and you can stand here without getting shot, but still, it's like, why, right? So that's the only time or that said, that's just fine here. Let's keep going, because I'm trying to keep this one a bit shorter. Come on, let me go through. And here we have these strange traps right here. And just an item. A bit of, like, there's not much here. Which is a bit, it's loud. Which is a bit odd. There's just this one little room, and then we have an item over there, and we could potentially drop down there. So let's keep going on the sides here. And try and count how many hands here there are, because that's quite a lot. With some items here, there's really not much interesting stuff here. There are just a few hands that are stroking the ground, I guess. Weird things. This thingy. Then there's a building over here. And these are traps, by the way, so if you're not very careful and you're stepping into the hand, it will grab you. And the small ones, I don't know what they're doing in the ground. They're not grabbing you. I don't know if it deals damage or not, but it's weird. So this is basically all from the courtyard. There are a few hands, a few items, and the quote-unquote interesting part was this wall right here, this eastern wall. So let's go to the entrance again and start walking this way right here. And have a look around, a little bit around, because here we have this nice, cool looking fountain. Not well, it's a fountain. And then we have this strange looking building right here with a door that we can't open, which is, it's a bit weird. The level itself looks quite good, so the world design, it looks awesome. I think it's very atmospheric, the enemies are creepy, but I think there could be a bit more variety with the enemies and not so much spam. I don't know why it does that, but the thing is, this feels like a horror level to me. It has the feel of a horror level, so because we have these crawling hands, it's quite dark here, there's a lot of fog. But when you're the first time you're confronted with these hands, they're quite creepy and unnerving. But the more you're exposed to them, the weaker the effect becomes. So I think they overdid it right here. There are too many hands, and there are just so many traps you can go through until, like, this is nothing anymore, right? The first time you're getting grabbed, like, you're getting a heart attack, right? But the second, third time, it's just, ugh. How can I see them? Oh, there are actually the fingers sticking out of the ground. Well, unlucky. So I think there are too many enemies here, and there could be more variety. So let's keep going the main path, and then let's get into the building itself. because I want to talk about these walls and these structures, but they are really hard to see from down here, and I want to talk about them once we are in the quote-unquote manor itself. That's so weird. Stop doing that. Stop stroking yourself. Okay, getting into the manor itself, we are now in this building over here. And we can already see which ways we can go, but here it's not what I would expect from a manor, right? So for me a manor is something that you can live in, right? That you're like a house, just bigger. Or at least there should be a house. Like this one is walled, right? There are walls here, but there's really no living space, which is a bit odd. So I think there should be some sort of living space, because it's a manor, it's not a castle, and even castles should have living spaces, but it's a bit weird. So let's have a look at this room, for example. What do we have in here? A lot of crystals, like glintstone crystals, I think. Bookshelves, spooky ghost candles, like the blue fire candles, whatever. A bunch of weird stuff with stars, like solar system, like thingies. I don't even know what this does. It just spins and does nothing. Like, they don't feel like any devices you can use to do something with. They look like toys. And a bunch of church benches, which is strange. Going up this staircase, we are now in a church or chapel or whatever you want to call this. Something where you can pray, which is odd. Again, right? Same thing with what's it called here? With Landell. For some reason, when you go into the building or start the level, it starts with a chapel. I mean, they take worship very seriously here. Very serious or very seriously? I think serious is right? So, but not much to do here. It's a bit, it's a shame that we can't get up here, but we can only get through the roof up there. So I'm gonna do that later. And now we are walking on this part here, this bridge wall piece. I don't know what I want to call this, because it's not a wall in and out of itself. It's more like a bridge, right? But it looks like a wall. And I really like these flower pots right here. They look quite good, to be honest. I like the model of them. But again, same thing with the crenellations. I mean, they are the same crenellations, just with a bit more destruction and a bit more plants on top of them. And going alongside this dangerously broken down bridge, are they spawning here or are they not spawning? Nope, they're not spawning. Usually there are blue versions of, what are they called? Not Soldier of Godric, but the Leonia version of the Soldier of Godric, the blue ones that can throw like the glintstone rock thingies or cuckoo rock thingies, I don't know. So there's not much to do here. You can fight soldiers up here that are currently not spawning because I'm invisible, but that is not a problem. I don't want to fight them right here. But this is basically it, up to a specific point where you can only fight two types of enemies. Soldiers, that are currently not spawning because I'm invisible, and hands. And I think the variety is a bit odd. Here we have a splitting path. Right there is a splitting path with this tower on top, where, by the way, is no way getting into the tower. So again, there are missing doors. Right. So I kind of wish there was just a door, just a hint of a door right here in every of these towers that are like inside the manor itself, like inside the grounds of the manor. And the level design is quite odd. The level and the architecture in general, right? Why would you build towers inside of your manor? Like they're serving no purpose. And we have to jump down on top of this roof. And this was a building that we've seen from down below, right here. This odd looking building right here, we can jump on top. And then from this building, by the way, there's no way getting up here, and there's no sign of a trapdoor. We have to jump down on another building, and here we have a sign of a trapdoor. And I don't want to know what happens down there when it rains. I really don't want to know it. And we could go down here, but let's continue right here, which is the... It's hard to see because this thingy is on top, but I think this is... Yeah, this is a gate part where you can easily go around, but again, no way of getting up here, so I don't know why these crenellations even exist. And this is interesting, there is an extra crenellation, like too high, and I guess an arrow slit would be fine at this point, but here is no arrow slit, so what is happening? But yeah, again, lack of doors, lack of accessibility, basically. This is all level design and not much world design, in my opinion. Dropping down here, we have a treasure chest with a legendary weapon, which is the Sword of Night and Flame. It's there. This thing. And this one has some history behind it, and with history I mean patch history, not lore history, lore probably as well, but... And now we are down again and we have to loop around, go through this gate, or actually we can go around it. Same with this gate, so I don't even know why this gate thingy exists and why it's not connected to this big ass tower part, but... Don't think about it, it's just weird architecture that is inaccessible in the world. Like so many things in this game. I mean, would it be too hard to ask to just put a door at a wall so it looks like you can actually get into that part? Like, you don't even need to be able to open it, like, just put a door there and I'm happy. Okay, we are up here again, and now we have to go the other way. Here's the branching path right here. And here we can keep going. And from here we have a better look at the wall, but actually there's a better way getting to that part of the wall, so I will talk about the wall once we are there. And now they spawned. Great, first time they spawned right here. This is what they look like, and this blue, like, this blue part, they are blue, that means they're puppets basically. They're like your spirit summons, but the blue version, which are puppets as you can see. A Finger Maiden puppet, Jaw Ride puppet. These are puppets, so they're being controlled by someone. Interesting, right? Okay, getting to this part, you probably want to go into this looking, strange looking building, which basically leads up to the second half of Caria Manor. It's not very big, this area, but a lot of stairs. Like, just imagine how unnecessarily difficult this is to get to certain locations. let's say we want to go here, we have to go up these stairs, and here is an elevator, and more stairs on the whole bridge part over here, through a chapel again, and then loop around. Like, holy shit, imagine you want to carry barrels of whatever up here. And it's quite the empty structures, right? So we have such a big structure, and then it's just one of these square rooms with a nonsensical elevators. And I think this is quite strange, right? We have one of these elevators that make no sense. And I'm saying it again, why they make no sense. This indicates it's a mechanism. It indicates it's a mechanism, right? With the pressure plate and all. We have wooden structures, we have chains, like... It looks like a mechanism. But there's no way, by walking on that pressure plate, that there's somehow a signal sent to these two wheels to spin. There's no way that this works. And on top of that, because we have this, it looks like a swing, right? It's like this corner, they are connected in the middle, basically, which makes it quite unstable. So maybe not right here, but in a more open area, like down there, where we came from, where this thing can hang freely without touching the walls, then once you're going to this side, this thing should, like, what's it called? Like, not bounce around. You know what I mean. You would probably fall off that thing. And I mean, this is a magic area, right? This is a magical area. A lot of sorcery stuff right here. And why is the elevator not magic? This would make much more sense. Like a magical elevator that makes more sense than a normal elevator. But okay, enough elevator ranting. These walls serve no purpose, like... Why are there arrow slits? I can tell you why, because it's a reused asset and they didn't want to, plug this hole there. So, just reused assets. Let's see what's actually on top of these tower parts here. Oh well, they're actually towers. Look at that. Sadly, no trapdoor whatsoever. And I just wanted to activate that gray so we can go down and teleport to this part. Because now we are going to ride down again. And where is it? One right here, right? Yeah. And here we can jump onto the wall itself, which is quite nice. What, right? Let's start over at this area, because right here we are at the very corner of the wall itself. In this part, there's a cliff here. And here we can protect, so I don't know why they, again, reused assets. They don't want to make, what's it called? Unique assets for this particular area, which is fine. And we have here a unprotected staircase, like when you walk here, you're actually in danger when this thing is actually getting attacked. So I would prefer a staircase that goes through this tower part and that where you reach the foot of the stairs right here. So you go the stairs up here and ignore this little window, it's a reused asset, right? So that we are safe. And they should meet up here, where we can then go to this wall, or this part of the tower, because this is actually a tower, this is a square little thing right here, but let's just keep going. Then, same thing with this staircase as well, and let's talk about this one structure, which makes no sense. Why does this exist? Why is there a wooden hangover structure at a tower? We've seen this quite a lot of times and it still makes no sense. At least this one is facing inwards and not outwards towards the potential enemy, which would be very stupid. Here we're now... below us is this very small room, and as we can see, this very small room could have been much bigger, but it isn't, for some reason. And again, we have no access to this tower. Put a door here that indicates that this tower is accessible, or make this room underneath us bigger, and then put a door somewhere to indicate that you can actually go into this tower part, right? Then this weird little thing right here, which serves... I don't know if it serves any purpose. Maybe, maybe not. You basically have more surface area for the wall with this part, so I guess it's fine. Again, no access to this very vital tower, but we have actually a tower here, so that's cool. Here we have a Iron Maiden, what are they called? Iron Virgin something, whatever. Weird thing, I don't know why it's here. It's from the Caria Manor, but I don't know, I don't care. But this is something I care about, this weird thingy right here. We are currently on the most vulnerable area of the wall, right? Because this is the path the enemy can come from. So this wall in particular should be very well defended, right? But it isn't, because we actually have a walkway on the outside, like a wooden walkway, no defense whatsoever. Why isn't just there a doorway in here so we can go to this part, like, and come out of here? Would make more sense than these wooden structures right there. But oh well. And here we are at the side of the gate, right? So there's the entrance. And, well, we can't get into the gatehouse. Oh, that's so sad. Another gate we can't get into. But oh well, I guess... I mean, just indicate a door here. Is this so much... too much to ask for? Like, come on. We've seen this so many times now, and I'm keep pointing this out because, like, of course I am. But there are so many missing doors, like, why? But let's keep going, and by the way, this is a manor, a manor, something where people live. And I haven't seen something, like, it's defended, yes, but where are the people sleeping? Like on the floor right here? It's just these cold stone buildings with a bunch of books and weird thingies like these and tables. Like, why? Why is it so weird? And now we are at the upper part right here, and let me make a quick little cut here. Okay, I think I can keep going right now. I had to cough really badly. So here we are again in a nice little garden area, this time with big wolves. Nice, a new enemy type. And I think they're unique to this area right here, so props for that. But they're basically just wolves that are stronger, so, well, unlucky I guess. But here we can have a good look at, oh, don't fall down, at the weird structures we were in before. There was the entrance, then we could go through here, through this little gatehouse, then into this big ass cool looking building right here, which is not a living like a building where you can live in. It's more like a workplace, like a chapel of some sort, and there's a big ass tower here, which we have no access to, which is also odd. So, not much to do here, right? Really, not really much to do here. So I guess this garden looks like a gardenish area. Let's just keep going because that's not very interesting. And I think there's not going to be that much more interesting stuff in here because it's all like it feels not like a manor, it's like a, I don't know what it is, like it's weird, right? All these structures, and here we have a nice little area that we can sneak around the enemies, so this is nice level design. And I don't mind this weird ass ladder that is here. I don't get why there are no chronodations up here. I guess they don't need them up here, but then they have them up there again. Here's a tower, nice looking tower. I wish I could get in that tower and have a look at it, but you can basically come from the side, so you don't have to face these enemies from the front. But they don't feel like pull one of them one at a time and it's fine, I guess. Not hard to defeat. And I don't know, this is a troll, right? Please tell me how they get their big ass faces into this fairly small helmet. Like, let's just imagine they squeeze their head into these big ass in these helmets. Like, must be very uncomfortable. But I don't get why they have a cloak and still no clothing, so they're basically naked, just with a helmet on top. Like, weird. Like, there's not much to say about here. Like, why is there wooden structure outside again? Like, why does this whole area exist? Probably so the player can get around these enemies, but that's it. That's it, really. Just to get around enemies. It's just pure level design and no world design whatsoever. This is an area that I quite like. I wish there was actually water in there, because let's just imagine how nice this would look in its prime, like when there's not so much, like when it's well maintained, let's say it this way. Because this area looks quite nice, right? But it feels empty. It's very empty, it's very cold. So there's no... And look how great this wall looks like. Look how great this looks. This is awesome. This looks awesome. I wish I could go in there. I wish I could explore these, because here we have windows. It looks like an... I mean, it's a wall, yes, but it's also something interesting looking, but we can't explore it. We can't explore the good looking things. It looks so interesting with all these parts here. Like, let's jump up there. Let's have a quick look at the roofing, for example. Look how nice this looks. This looks like something... Oh, that actually looks really nice. Let's have a... I want to have a look at that from here. I just need to be careful that I'm not dying, because it still can die from 20 meters or above, so... Yeah, this looks nice. Why can't we explore this part? Like... It would it would add so much to the world itself, and yes, we can get out there, but I want to get this set of grace right here. And this is quite the interesting looking area, but first let's have a boss fight, shall we? Okay. So this this was the ghost or whatever of Loretta. Loretta is currently not here, but now we can have a look at this area. Because the wall itself looks pretty. The wall looks nice, facing inward. And I really like these, like the wall on the inside there with the big ass hangover thingies. That looks pretty nice. But here we have a very shallow piece of water. Do I call this a lake, or I don't even know what I would call this, with a lot of chairs around. So this is probably something to do with stars, probably with their internal magic right here, where they sit here and look at something, because I guess because it's water, it's reflecting stuff, and let's just imagine this as a big mirror, so the people can sit here and looking at the stars by looking at this pond, and they don't have to look like, they don't have to bend their necks to see the stars. That would be a cool explanation. And then they have this big ass thingy that catches starlight shards or whatever they're called. Like, I mean, it looks amazing, right? This area looks amazing. Don't mind that these words make no sense. Don't mind it, but it looks amazing. But in comparison, I mean, this area looks much bigger than it is, right? It looks like so much more, and you could have made so much more detailed things. And this is basically it. This is basically Caria Manor, because there is the exit to this whole part over here. But you're not living here. This is supposed to be Caria Manor, okay. Maybe this is just their workplace, right? And they're living, and they would have lived right here because there are ruins. So maybe they lived in here, but then why isn't this part like walled off? Why isn't there a big ass wall over here? Why don't they need to wall off this part? It's just, and especially here, it's quite dangerous here because it's fairly easy to build a bridge here, like a wooden plank would be enough to get up here. So not that safe, to be honest, but oh well. So let's just imagine people were living here in these ruins, and the manor itself is just a workplace where you can, like, yeah, it's called the moon gazing ground. So you're gazing at the moon from here on out. So maybe this is like watching TV for them, or like going to the cinema, because you're doing it together, I guess. Just a weird place, but I think it's like, look at this, there is a whole building here, right? I'm looking at a building right here. But we have no access to it, at least I think there's no way. No door whatsoever. Unlucky, I guess. So now I forgot what enemies we had here. We had some magic sword dudes, like these dudes right there, with the stone heads. Then a troll and some pages here, a page. I don't know what you're pronouncing them. I don't care. But not that much variety, to be honest. And going through here, we are on a very small part of the wall, because remember, you can't get into these towers. And then for some reason, again, these wooden structures outside that serve absolutely no purpose at all. A better way, this is obviously, or this is a way to get down here. You're supposed to jump to that part there, then jump to that part to get down there. But a better part would be, or a better idea, which would make more sense, is like break down this wall. That you have to jump same jumps as these jumps, but with the part of the wall here. Like, you have to jump to the wall side down there, and then you have to jump to this side, right? You get what I'm saying, without these wooden structures, because why is this wooden structure here? What purpose does it serve? It serves no purpose at all, right? Like, this is purely level design and no world design whatsoever. Oh. Oh. We found it, boys and girls. We found it. One of these doors that I'm talking about that are just there to show the player that there is something inside. You have this model in the game. You have a door model in the game. Like, is this the only door? Is this the only area where they're using this one door model? There's another one. But why here? This is bad news. I have very bad news. There are stupid people working at FromSoft, I guess. Why? Like, this is something that this is something to get pissed about, honestly. So, finally, we have, the game actually has door models, like, for doors that are inaccessible. The model exists. But why? Why the fuck would you put a door floating right there and a door floating right up there? What? And this is a graveyard. How are you supposed to get down here? For fuck's sake, put the door down here, for example. But why floating in the air, just supported by a little wooden platform there? Like, what the fuck? Are you like what? Like, what's wrong with you? All this interesting looking structure, and this looks like a big tree, by the way, but all these interesting looking details, and then can't access them. Like, for fuck's sake, what are you doing? And this is a graveyard. How are you supposed to get up here? Or down here, whatever you want to say. Like, for fuck's sake. And yeah, here we have pot boys, probably because they're digging up the dead bodies to put them inside of them, like, right? They're opening the lid, they're putting a dead body inside, and then they're closing the lid again. That's how the pot boys work, right? And do you want to know how I imagine them to look inside, like the pot boys? Have you played Dark Souls 1? If you have played Dark Souls 1 in Lost Isolith, these weird looking demon thingies with the mouth on top of them, when they grab you, or when you jump onto them from top, then you're basically getting eaten by them. Like with the circular looking mouth thingy. That's how I imagine them to look without the pot lid. Like just teeth in a circle, like grinding down the dead bodies that they are consuming. Would be nice. Would be a nice little twist, because they're like friendly, but they look disgusting when you open the lid. And this is just like... Okay, there's another graveyard here. But how are you supposed to get down here? I mean, they have door models, but the doors are actually floating in the air. Isn't that great? Isn't that just great? And I really hate them for that now. I really hate it. Thanks, I hate it. This is cursed, this area. This whole area is cursed. The whole game is cursed, for fuck's sake. Like, the whole world design is like... It's not taken to be... it's not there to take it literally, like... This whole game is like... I guess as I've said it in what's it called? In Lanedale, right? That's what it's called. This whole game, not only Lanedale, the whole game feels like a dream. Remember, when you're dreaming, it doesn't necessarily make sense to you, right? The building structures, if you're dreaming of a city, it doesn't make sense. Because maybe there are some ginormous towers with... Like... It's a dream, right? And this feels like a dream because the whole world makes no sense. But it's okay. It's fun to go through this game mostly. But like, where's the opening? How do I get into the structure? And they have door models. Just slap them on every single tower in the entire game and it's fine, right? But okay, we have one more thing to explore. And then I'm done for today. Because we have to get out of here. And by the way, they can create nice looking areas, right? But why can't they create areas that make a little bit more sense? And yeah, there's a dragon right there. Who cares? Who cares about that dragon? I care about this building that is down here. Right at this point. Nice. Let's get onto this tower thingy and have a look at this awesome looking wall thingy there. Where there's no access to all these building parts. So probably because that's the way they intended to be, I guess. The entrance to the manor part, this whole part here, I don't know what happened to my voice there, but this is all underground area apparently. And the access, the entrance to these areas are these two doors. One door up there, we can see it from here. One door up there and one door somewhere over there, floating into in the air. Like, what the fuck are you doing? And same thing here. Why do I have to jump on the outside onto like weird wooden structures that are... Who built them there? Who created them? Like, instead of in this building itself. The answer is because putting wooden structures here is easier than building an entire interior. But oh well, now we are down here and we have access to this roof for some reason. Why would you get access to this roof? There's just this unnecessary item here, 5 old fangs. And for that you give us access to a roof. Questionable. This is really questionable. But okay. Jumping down here. We can see this is Peter, something like this. And it is, or at least I think that he is the one I guess he is clearly the one with all the marionettes, but he's controlling them, but you can't kill him because this is a no attack zone, and killing him, spoilers, he dies at some point, but the enemies still spawn, so who the fuck cares? Like, it makes no sense. And here we have actually access to the other part of the wall, like this part over here, so let's have a look at it. But it's not looking that much different, like, at all. It's just a piece of a wall with the same crenellations that are a bit strange. Then a tower where they could easily put in this door thingy, these doors that are flying in the air right there. And then we have some wooden structure over here, just for level design, so you can get on top of this wall. And we are right now very close to the gatehouse. And then again, wooden structures to the outside, by the way, and a crab. A crab. What are you eating? Where are you getting these worms from? Guarding a stone sword key. Bravo. Cool. So, to be honest, I'd rather have no access to these walls here whatsoever, but then I would like to have a bigger explorable area. Like, it's hard to see here, up there in this part of the game itself, like it feels lazy to me. This area really feels lazy to me, like a, oh, let's just put it here so there is something, but don't bother, like don't put much effort into this area. And with effort, I mean, especially this part right here, especially this entrance here, the entrance, it looks so nice. With all these crystals, these flowers here, the bushes and all. And then the creepy atmosphere with all these hands, with the fog, with these bluish sparks flying through the air. It looks awesome. But it's so empty. The area feels very empty. But this is Caria Manor. Actually, Caria, yeah, Caria. Not Carrion, not with an N. It's Caria Manor. Okay. So, I guess it's time for my rating that I'm forgetting till next time, till the next video. I guess so. Level design. I would no, I would, what would I? Level design, how is the level itself designed, and the enemy placement, or the enemies in total. What kind of enemies do we have? Let's start with the enemies, actually. We have two types of hands here, then we have these albinoric mages. A few of them, like 2 or 3, I don't know. Then getting into this building, we have nothing. On top of these bridges, I call them bridges because they're not really walls, right? These are bridges. There are soldiers, like puppets, but they're soldiers. Then up here we have wolves, and down here we have a Iron Maiden, or whatever they're called, Iron Virgin, I guess. Then wolves, bigger wolves, 3 mages, 1 troll knight, a few pages, like 2 or 3, I think 3, and Loretta. And then down here, small pot boys and a few big pot boys, like And it feels like it feels weird to me, because down here there are way too many hands in my opinion. And not enough other things. Why aren't there like a few puppets down here and a few hands? Like, maybe use the hands only to scare the player, like buried in the ground, and maybe put one up there, only one, not two. Put one up there that the player, who is going through the level looking at the sky like this? No one, right? So you're keeping your camera right here, and here you can see them. But let's just imagine they were gone and there were one up here, or even two up there. Like, the player wouldn't see them, and then maybe put an item up here, put an item down here, like maybe a specific item, maybe a sword of some sort, right? Or some item that the player wants to look at. So the player looks at his new weapon, right? And then the hand comes down like, whoom. That's a jump scare. That's how you build a jump scare, not like... But I guess this is more unnerving when you see them on the walls itself. But I wish they would walk on the walls, like on the side, like spiders, like spiders minding their own business, and then they would fall down once you get too close, or they wouldn't even fall down. Maybe they're just climbing there, they're ignoring you. Maybe let them walk all over the place, but only a few of them will actually attack the player by sight. Of course, when you shoot at them or something like that, then they're getting triggered, but maybe make it like this and then put a few soldiers down here, why not? Or maybe, like, just an idea, then right here at this wall part, make it a bit bigger. This part actually here where there's a room, make it 2 rooms or make it a bigger room. Put some soldiers in there, like the puppet soldiers, I guess. And I don't know, maybe another hand on the ceiling that is like creeping along the ceiling. Something like this. Make it more interesting. Make it make it more alive, because looking at this, we have enemies here, like, right? But it looks dead. Looking at this, it looks kind of dead, because they're not moving much. Imagine they were, like, creeping up and down these walls or around the tower itself. That would be disgusting. That would be awesome, actually. And then, again, make this area bigger. Make it look big, or it looks big, but it's small. Make it actually bigger. Like, we have all these structures on this wall right here that are inaccessible. Make them accessible. Make them look like you can live in there. Because right now it's empty. It feels empty. It feels boring, and it's kind of sad, right? Oof, big lag. Holy shit. But yeah, that's enemy placement. How would I rate enemy placement? And it's so hard to rate because it's okay. It's okay. It's not bad, but it's also not really good, to be honest. Like, nice. Thanks for the sound effects. So I would like to give it a 5, because for me it's like from 1 to 10. Everything below 5 is bad, and everything that's enough. So everything below 5 is bad and everything above 5 is good, but it's not really that good, is it? The enemy placement? I mean, it loses its charm once you get trapped once and once you see these hands, but then it's getting tedious. And I mean with the whole area, like, there are a bunch of soldiers up here, so 2 enemy types down here, with the sorcerers 3, but they don't count, they're just like, they're no threat at all. So 2 enemy types down here, 1 enemy type up here, just different soldiers, but it's the same enemy type. Then wolves up here, like, it only gets more interesting-ish once you're approaching this part over here. Because then we have like 3 different enemy types in one very close space, right? But they're again separated from each other. We have these 3 sword mages, like spell swords right there, then we have a troll, and then we have the pages or pages or whatever you want to call them. Like, and then we have here, when you jump somewhere here, the pot boys, and it feels separate. They are all separated from each other. They are not like, it feels like not much variety, that's what I mean. So it's only okay. It's a 5 for me, it's okay. It's not bad. It would be bad if there were only hands or only soldiers and very boring. It's okay. There's variety, but the placement is kind of boring. Yeah. Then the level design itself, right? Level design. How is it built? We have a big or a open area down here. Something hidden on the... some items are like scattered around. We have a maiden path going through here. Then we have to loop around if you want to get the Sword of Night and Flame. Go around or go back up or teleport to this position, which I'm not very fond of. I wish you could get back up here from this building itself. So I don't like to have, like, go from the entrance, go up here, then you want to pick this item up, then you have to teleport or walk back to this part, and then you have to do at least this small part again. Excuse me, this small part again. This could be improved if there was some way of getting up here again, right? Then you have to go here. You can decide to jump down onto this part, but what you really want to do is go up the elevator, grab the grace, and then get down again, because again, it's a one-way ticket. You jump to this part of the wall, and you are stuck here. You have to start from the beginning if you're not getting up that elevator. And this is again, like, you have to backtrack twice now. Backtrack number 1, backtrack number 2. If you don't know better. If you know better, or if you decide correctly, that's fine. Lucky you. But if you're not deciding right, then you have to go the same way again. Up here, it's getting a little bit better, because then we see enemies that we can face head on, or we can go around them and ignore everything in front of the giant, right? And then we have the page dullies, like, not much. Then again, we can find the boss, which is quite obvious. It's obvious that there is a boss, like, you're not getting surprised by the boss. It looks like a boss arena, it is a boss arena. The boss itself is a weak version of the boss you are encountering. What is happening up here? So it's basically, where is it? Is this area? This is the boss arena, I guess. This is the boss arena, yeah. So it's basically a repeat boss, or it's like the Mogwin version, like the Mog in a canalization, and the Moog in the Mogwin Palace, right? It's like, it's not very a unique enemy, and it's a reskin of or I'd say not a reskin, but it's a tree sentinel based enemy. So not that unique, to be honest. Then we have the path with the pot boys, with the 2 floating doors there, and I like I quite like platforming in these games. It's quite decent. If I compare it to platforming in the previous Dark Souls titles, like, it's much better here. So the platforming part with where the pot boys on the graveyard there, it's fine. So I would give this level design a 6-ish. 6. Because these loops, the looping around, like, the backtracking part is kind of annoying. And there's not much to explore here, so just a 6. It's a bit above average, I would say. So, world design. The big square in the top of Liurnia that isn't really that big. And it feels more like a fort to me. It feels more like a fort. So we have a lot of walls here, not much living space, but a big ass garden with a, to be honest, good atmosphere. Like it looks great. The atmosphere, like, look how creepy this looks. Like, with the fog, with the hands here. Let's have a look if we can make this a bit more creepy. Not really. Nah, this is not really. No. Where is it? I thought when you make this game darker it looks creepier, but it's not really the right darkness for me. So it looks nice, but does it make sense? Not really. Not really. For me, this isn't what a manor feels like. This is not how I imagine a manor to be, right? Because I would like to live here. Let's just imagine this is like in its prime. Let's just imagine this area is in its prime. Without the hands, with a nice garden here. Like these crystals here, it looks great, right? And how colorful this can be, or could be. So, but there's so much stone structure, like, there's no living space. We have a chapel over here, or a church, whatever you want to call this, an elevator building, and then this public moon gazing ground plaza thingy. But the majority of these buildings that are right here in the wall itself is not accessible, and this area here, this building right here at the grounds itself, right? It feels like a living area. It actually, to me, it feels like a area that the people in the manor can live in, right? This one over here. This looks a bit more like something you would, or you could, live in. But I can't count that. I can't count that because it's actually not shown. I can only imagine things, right? And there's actually a chimney. At least it looks like a chimney right here. And another one. So, and another one. Maybe these are just pillars. I don't know. But I can't let that count. So it doesn't feel. It feels empty, and the layout again doesn't really make much sense. Why isn't this chapel like separated? Then we have this part where you can get onto the second level, but why do you have to go over these bridges? Why is it not like a staircase going up there? Or just an elevator house? I can tell you why, because then the level design would suffer. But from a world design it would make more sense. Why isn't there a way in here? Why is there a bridge part branching out and leading just to a tower? There's so many questions, and this design feels too empty to me, and but it looks good. So from the looks, I would give it a 7. It's a nice looking area, it's quite creepy, but it feels empty. It feels cold and empty. That's how I would describe it. Creepy, cold, and empty. And from the doesn't make sense from a world design, like, does it make sense, I would give it a 3, 4, 3, something like this. Because there's no living space, not even an indicator. And it doesn't feel like a manor to me. If you could call it Caria Castle, or not Castle, Caria Fortification, something like this, I don't know. Something that doesn't feel like a home, because manor feels like a home to me, like an area where, a big area, maybe with a garden, a own chapel or something like this, I don't care. But something where people are living. It doesn't feel like a living space. It just feels like a fortified place. Just fortifications like a castle or a fort. So 3 4 doesn't make sense, and 7 4 looks. So it's a 5 again. So it's a 5 5, I would say. Nothing special. Disappointing, quite disappointing, but not bad. It's okay. So yeah, this would be my rating. Let me know what you would rate this place, and that's it from me. Goodbye.